What's going on, guys? Today I thought I'd talk about the new WTF Taekwondo rules. A lot of people have been asking me to do this video, so I thought I would kind of take a few of the big rule changes, talk about them, give you my thoughts, my opinions, so let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about one of the biggest new rule changes, which is them now allowing pushing. Now, this is based on my sparring scrimmage I went to, and then other videos that I have watched from tournaments, and then also from other people explaining the rules as well, is you can push to basically just to create space. So if you're like in a clinch, you can push your way out of the clinch to create space to open up opportunities for kicks. But things that you cannot push for is if your opponent is coming in for a kick, you can't push them to knock them off balance or to knock them down. And then you also cannot push them out of the ring. And that's something that happened during the sparring scrimmage that I went to recently, is we were on the edge of the mat and I got pushed out of the ring. Instead of me getting a penalty for stepping out of bounds, the other person got a penalty for pushing me out of bounds. So from my understanding, from my experience, those are the rules on pushing. You can create space, but you cannot push to knock your opponent down if they're mid-kick, and you cannot push them out of bounds. Next, let's talk about the cut kick. Now, you cannot hold the cut kick below the hogu. It has to be above the hogu, and you cannot hold it for no longer than 3 seconds. Also, if you are going to throw any type of fake movement that's going to be coming up below the hogu, such as you're in a fighting stance, you pick up that knee, or you're kind of coming up for a kick, but it's below the hogu, you need to make sure that you immediately follow that up with another kick. You can't just stand there in your fighting stance and then pick up that knee or kind of skip forward with a little bit of a cut kick and put it back down. That will get you a penalty. You need to make sure that if you're going to throw anything below the hogu, that you immediately follow it up with a rear attack that's supposed to score. And for penalties, there are no more half-point penalties. It is all 1-point penalties. So if you get penalized for something during a match, you're basically giving your opponent 1 point. And this can really suck if you have a really strict referee, because they're going to start getting you on stuff, and you're basically just going to keep giving points and points to your opponent as well. And also, you can't avoid a fight, meaning you can't keep going straight back. You can't keep avoiding any type of exchanges. And I know a lot of people will do this if it's toward the end of the round, you're up points, and you don't want to risk doing any type of exchanges and getting scored on. But in this case, if you do that, you avoid, then you might be getting penalties, and that's not going to be good either. So just really make sure that you play it safe, but you also play it smart and don't lose by penalties. Now, there are some other new rule changes, but the ones I mentioned in this video, I personally think are what's going to affect majority of people as far as the sparring game goes and training goes as well. Now, I personally like the new rules. I think it's a step in the right direction as far as bringing back a little bit more of the old school fighting versus this new school fighting. I know when I watched some of the highlights from the US Open from this past year, the sparring just seems so much more exciting if you compare it to the last Olympic Games. So I'm really thinking this is a good step in the right direction. As far as these rules affecting my training, there are 2 things that I'm going to be working on. One is the pushing part. So basically, I'm going to start training a little bit more on pushing if I'm in close or in a clinch, creating that space, really using that toward my advantage to get in some nice counters. The second thing is I need to make sure that I'm not doing any type of low fakes or low cut kicks without immediately following it up with another attack, because I definitely don't want to get penalties for something silly like that. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any opinions or if you have experience fighting with the new rules, let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like us on Facebook, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.